Alright everyone, welcome to this semi-final series between Futurama and Drive, aka the guest here in this series. This was a best of 7 in the special one tournament hosted by AggressivePanda and Marik. And I'm just going to head straight into it because these two players, probably the two best players in the tournament, but meeting in the semi-finals. So we have Futurama, no, this is Drive here on the left-hand side of Tournament Alpine playing as the green GDI Vanilla. And over on the right-hand side of Tournament Alpine, it is Futurama also playing as GDI. Now there was some interesting rules that were put in place by the hosts of this tournament where you could not play the same faction twice in a series, and all of Technique's maps were not put in the map pool. So it'll be good. We'll see a good variety of matchups in this series. They won't just be the old same screen versus nod, GDI, you know. We're going to see a lot of different factions and a lot of different matchups that we don't normally see in tournament play. So GDI Mirror to start isn't a massively uncommon matchup in the game, but it's definitely not the most likely scenario, especially in tournament play. You very rarely see GDI mirrors these days, but it is still good to see. Doesn't look like there's any funny business coming out of either player. Tournament Alpine, a really interesting map because it's actually really hard for GDIs and nods to expand, and I feel like Screen just has a massive advantage on this map because they can just go straight over this hill here on the need to expand. Whoa, what am I saying? Drive is just echoing. Futurama also just echoing. Although, where is his fourth harvester? Is he sent to the blue? No, where is his fourth harvester? Maybe he built more scouts. He did build quite a few scouts, but he only built one more than Drive, so I'm confused as to why he's so far behind. But he is actually sending his fourth harvester straight to that blue Tiberium field. Drive will see, Futurama will see that Drive is just expanding, nothing odd here. Pipple comes out, 2 Pipples come out, so he's moving up to this blue field. Drive moving down to his expansion, Futurama doing the same. And now Drive is going to go and try and get that blue Tiberium, but there's already Pipples out, and if Drive realizes this, he will probably turn around instantly. He will not want to keep pushing through into that because there's already Pipples up there, and even once he got there would be no blue Tiberium for him to harvest, so it really would not be worth it. Instead he's just, where did he send that harvester? Yeah, he's just sent it down to his expansion instead, which I think is the right play for Drive in this situation. Pipples now coming out for Futurama. He's going to start spamming them up. And it looks like Drive is doing the same, building up his Pipple numbers. He's got 5 Pipples on the field, but they're all sort of scattered around the map. Futuramas are all concentrated in this little pocket of forces here. Pipples are going to retreat for now. Well, that one Pipple is strayed from the pack, but it will not be picked off there. Both players, again, just echoing so far, and there's been a few little skirmishes here and there, but nothing too exciting yet in this game. Drive now reinforcing. Reverse move bug's going to kill that Pipple. That is unfortunate for Futurama. These Pipples now moving down along the south part of the map. Watchtower is sold off. Is Futurama going for, I think he's going for another refinery. I think that's another refinery. And Drive already has his second refinery down. So both players playing the eco game, building Pipples and ecoing like a mad. He needs to get a barracks down here, you would think. Oh, he's going for another power plant. Sort of interesting placement, sort of almost building a wall of, almost trying to defend that top part of his base just by blocking the path in with power plants. Tier 2 down for Drive. Pipple's now fighting on the bottom half of the map. And, well, he does have the numerical advantage here, Drive. He's still able to one-shot those Pipples, but he will get worn down eventually with the reinforcements from Futurama. Airfield is down. He's going for Orcas. And he's now sending some Pred tanks and APCs to the north part of the map to secure that blue Tiberium airfield, now also down for Futurama. He might be going hammerheads because he has all these rocket squads. He might want to go for some rocket hammerheads. Scan comes down. Now, does he see the airfield? He doesn't see the airfield. So he's not quite going to see that there are orcas on the field. Tech Lab also now down for drive. Orcas actually, so he's going orcas as well. Futurama. So that is interesting. These rocket squads moving out. Has he gone for an armory? No, he hasn't, so he's just sort of sending them out to see what he can find. Predator tank crushes that rifle squad. The rocket squads moving out. Pitbulls on the top half of the map, trying to find a way into the base. Predator tanks here to defend, but wow, Reclamator hub comes down. Drive knows that these Pitbulls are up here. He probably has defense ready. Where are the orcas? The orcas have actually already come in and killed 3 harvesters, so I did miss that. Now where are Futurama's orcas? They're now flying in, and there's no defense here for Drive either. So Futurama will get 3 harvesters. So they're going to trade 3 harvesters each here, Futurama and Drive, with these orcas. Yes, he does get all 3. Juggernaut's now out on the field. Marv coming out too. Reclamator hub down for Futurama. These two, I think, are like, this is just a mirrored game pretty much. Very similar playstyles from both of these two. Going for the orcas, going for the Marv, and Juggernauts now. Pitbulls in the north, not really able to achieve anything. Those watchtowers with AP ammo really do rip through Pitbulls quite quickly. The Marv is out for drive, so he's got his out quite a bit earlier. Futurama's is still at least 25 seconds away, you would think, with that. All the orcas, they're flying in the APCs, and Futurama hasn't realised. Oh no, he's lost 2, he's lost 3. No, he gets away with 2, both on extremely low health. That's very lucky there. These Pitbulls are moving back in again, trying to catch those orcas, but I don't think they'll be able to. The Juggernauts and Marv now out for Futurama, and he's going to get them on the move. The orcas flying over, shooting at Predator tanks. This MCV from Futurama is now under fire. The Marv has started to harvest his tip field. It has 1 zone trooper in it, but not much more than that. The Sonic Emitter comes down, lands a nice blow on those Predator tanks, but not too much damage done yet. This Juggernaut really needs to start firing. It's getting a lot too close to that Sonic Emitter. Shockwave comes down from Futurama. Is that the Shockwave? No, that's an Orca Strike. Where is... there it is. Is that the Shockwave? Or is that just a really delayed one for... That was a really delayed sound for Futurama's Sonic Shockwave. Now there it is. There is the Shockwave from Drive, and that could be the turning point in the fight. Rocket Squad and Engineer now in that Marv as well. 1 Juggernaut falls for Drive, but there's almost nothing left to contest with this Marv here. 2 Zone Troopers on the ground though, and there's really no anti-infantry here. The APCs are on the wrong side of the field. Another Sonic Emitter drops down. These Zone Troopers are now going to get cleaned up. The APCs are now moving in range. And it looks like Futurama is going to be overwhelmed here by Drive. And yeah, he's running out of forces. The orcas are just sort of running into their own death. And now there's orcas here for Drive, and I think that'll be GG. Futurama will bow out of this first game. He drops the Sonic Emitter though. Can that Sonic Emitter get the kill on the Marv? I don't think it'll have enough. No, it doesn't quite have enough. And Futurama calls it quits. So that is game 1. A GDI mirror on Tournament Alpine goes to Drive, and he will take a 1-0 lead in this best of 7. It's quite an interesting game. It was a very mirrored game. Both players played very passive, went the eco build. But Drive, his build was just faster. That was the decisive point in that game, is that his build was just faster. His Marv was out faster. His Juggernauts were there faster. His orcas were out faster. Everything Drive did was faster than Futurama. Anyway, let's move into game number 2. Alright, here we are for game number 2 of this best of 7. Sliding over to the left, we have Drive playing as Marked of Kane, and Futurama on the right is playing Scrin. So we have Marked of Kane versus Scrin Vanilla here on Tournament Airstrip. So Futurama had the map pick, he has picked Tournament Airstrip, and both players being forced to change their faction. We now have a Marked of Kane versus Scrin matchup. Now, Drive has probably picked Marked of Kane as one of his weaker factions, but he knows that he wants to maybe keep his stronger factions for later in the series if required. Lots of buzzers down there. Has he got an engineer here? Futurama? No, he's just got lots of buzzers, but maybe he was hoping that Drive would go for this middle spike, but he has not. So these buzzers, he's just built a lot of buzzers for no reason. Did a bit of damage to that tip crystal. Not that that makes any impact on the game, really. No descents or anything like that out of Futurama, and Drive also just going for eco, no bikes or anything like that. Both players, yeah. Buggy comes out, so he's going to try and pick off these Raider buggies. No, he's going to pick off the buzzers. The Raider buggies don't kill Raider buggies. I always am confused or lost for what to say in this early part of the game, because there really is nothing going on. There's been no rushing, there's been no nothing exciting here, nothing unique. Just eco, scouts, and that's it really. Drive and Futurama both on the move with their construction yards now. And we see another Raider buggy come out from Drive. That's an interesting choice. Is he going to go into bikes production now? Yes, he is. So he's going to look for a little bit of early aggression here with some bike buggy by the looks of things. He's only got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 harvesters. Futurama is now onto his 5th and halfway through his 6th. I believe that will be another harvester coming out from from Futurama, I should say. Now, is this going to be another war factory or a refinery? That's the question that I want to know, I want to have an answer to. Because if there's another war factory, it really shows the intention out of Drive to really put the pressure onto Futurama early in this game. Futurama halfway through his refinery, which makes me think this is probably also a refinery. Yes, it is. Refinery drops for both players. Futurama does have a few Seeker tanks out on the north side of the map, but the bikes for Drive, where have they gone? They're right down the bottom of the map. Right down the bottom of the map. So he's going to move in. They've been spotted now by this buzzer, and disintegrators are going to get pumped out by Futurama. Photon cannon being ready to be deployed, or is that a buzzer? I think he's built a buzzer hive, which doesn't really make any sense. But I guess it does draw a little bit of fire from the bikes, and he's actually defended this without much effort. The Seeker tanks in the north, they actually turned around, so the counter attack from Futurama will not be happening as he has moved away from that area. Scorpion tanks being built in readiness for that attack in the north, but that attack is not coming. That Raider buggy will probably get picked off. I don't think it's going to get away from those Seeker tanks. No, moves into heavy damage mode. Oh, it does sneak to the bottom of the map, but Futurama quick to adjust and kill that. Scorpion tanks moving along the top end of the map. Is that going to be another harvester, I think, for Drive? Yes, it is. So it's a good choice. He knows that he's got a little bit of a safety net here he can go back for, a little bit more eco. Photon cannon deployed in the north, because his army has been caught out of position here for Futurama, so these bikes are going to look for an entrance and maybe try and pick off a harvester, but I don't think he'd quite be able to pull it off. He does actually go for the Seeker tank, but 5 bikes are not enough to kill a Seeker tank in one volley. And he doesn't lose a bike somehow. That is surprising. So obviously a bit of misfiring from those Seeker tanks during that engagement. Laser turret comes down, and these guys, they are just a little bit crazy in R16. They have been a little bit too buffed by CGF in this patch, or in this version of us of 1.02 plus. Engineer comes out, obviously looking to try and take that middle spike, I would imagine, or maybe try and go for a sneaky capture. I don't think Drive knows about this force in the bottom left hand corner of the map, and he's actually moving away, and if Futurama sees this, he would be ready to pounce, although he's not moving everything away, so this is good by Drive, not completely leaving himself open to an attack in the south. He probably does not have much eyes on the map, and yeah, Futurama is going to go, well, I have control of the map, I'm going to take that blue Tiberium while I can. The bike's here for Drive, they're going to try and find a way in, but they're really struggling so far. I mean, he went for those early bikes, and he's still yet to kill a Harvester in this match. Shredder Turret in the north will be cleaning up those disintegrators. Both players have got their tech down, and Mechapedes are on the way for Futurama. There you go. What is... he's going stealth tanks, yep. So Dry's going to go for the stealth tank play. Futurama going for the Mechapede play. Seeker Tanks moving in the south. Lightning Spike comes down. Seeker Tanks and a Gunwalker moving in, and there's really not much here. If you drop the repair drones, I think Drive would have a seriously hard time dealing with... Oh, wow. That is not good for Drive, to be completely honest. You don't really want to use your tip vane on such a small force. And on your own tip field as well. Because you do, like you can see, there's a few crystals missing here and there from the tip field now. Now those bikes were picking off. I think they killed one Harvester. The Catalyst Missile has also come down. But there's a lot of Mechapedes on the field, and that Stealth Tank somehow took nearly no damage from that Mechapede ball. So that is surprising. So 4 Mechapedes out now. Stealth Tanks trying to sneak through, and they actually get around that Seeker Tank group there. Redeemer trying to be built, but I don't know, there's not really much defense here for, he doesn't even have an obelisk queued. Does not even have an obelisk queued. That's a lot of disc segments. Maybe he was expecting there to be a sort of, vertigo? No, I'm not really too sure what he was expecting. Stealth Tanks in the north trying to pick off Harvesters. He split his fire between the 2 Harvesters to try and kill them separately, but I don't think he's going to get either in the end because the Seeker Tanks responded. Avatar's over here dealing with the Mechapedes. He does pick off one of the Mechapedes, so good focus firing there from Drive. Redeemer is almost out, but their tripod spam has begun, and I think Futurama is just a long way ahead in this game. He's been able to take all of the blue Tiberium. I don't think there has been a single load taken by Drive in this match. The Redeemer comes out for Drive. Now, what's he going to put? It's going to be the good old double engineer mock play. That's what most mock players like to do with their Redeemer, since they can't get flame weaponry in it. They like to make it a big meat shield with a double engineer type go. But no, is he going to put that tip trooper inside? No, we don't know yet. Okay, stealth tanks being reproduced here by Drive. Futurama actually going for a hexapod here and some dev warships. Interesting choice to go for the hexapod versus mock and versus what Drive is going for. I would have thought tripod spam with stasis would have been the play, but I'm not going to judge. Futurama is a very, very good player, and I will not question him as he is in the semi-finals and I was not. Moving out with the Redeemer and an Avatar now, but the thing is, he has to keep a couple of Avatars at home in the north because he knows that there's still Mechapedes and Seeker Tanks lurking around. That Stealth Tank gets picked off. Obviously just ran into the Mechapedes there. I mean, you look at the army that Futurama has in comparison to what Drive has. You'd have to say that Futurama is looking in a splendid position. Vertigo Bomber's now out though, so that's good, that's good. I like the Vertigo Bomber play. Looks like those Seekers did end up getting cleaned up in the north. No, they've retreated back to base. Wow, this is odd. Drive's actually got this expansion down earlier because Futurama went for the Redeemer, for the Hexapod instead, and he hasn't even done anything with the Hexapod yet, so what was the point of building it? You haven't done anything with the Hexapod yet. You've built it for no reason, basically, is what I'm getting at. Finery now comes down, and it's... Jeez, Drive has double ref. He's actually probably found his way back into this game because of Futurama's passiveness here. I mean, his army's not huge, of course, but he has the Vertigo Bombers, he has Venoms, he has, you know, he has good defensive capabilities because he's marked of Kane with the Redeemer Rage Gen. He's got EMP for days, you know. And wow, a Mechapede falls there, maybe killed off by that avatar, a couple of avatars in the middle of the map. And Drive's force is starting to really build up here. I mean, so is Futurama's, to be fair. He's got double ref in the middle now, and he's still got control of the map, which means he's still got the blue tip. He's got a spike advantage. You'd still say that Futurama is ahead, but he's now given Drive a massive chance in the game. He's not out of the game now, Drive, because Futurama sat around and done nothing. Like, look how big his army is. He could have, done a lot more with that. But again, just a little bit too passive for my liking from Futurama here, but maybe he knows better than I do. Both players now just sort of sitting around doing nothing. There's really not much going on around the map. Vertigo bombers are flying around trying to find something to bomb. Maybe a super weapon will come out from one of these players. Venom comes in to see what he's got to deal with here. Enlightened squad's coming out from Drive. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a good play. Drive going to pick off that tip spike so that he can try and catch up a little bit in the economy game. Lightning Spike comes down to try and do a little bit of scouting. Seeker Tank's here defending this Harvester, taking the blue Tiberium. And this is actually quite hard to commentate now because both players are sitting around doing fucking nothing. Planetary Assault Carriers coming out from Futurama. Interesting choice. Now, they're not as good as they are in 1.03, but they are still going to be effective if there is a lack of anti-air in the force of Drive, which there is at the moment. I mean, he's actually losing some of his anti-air right now to these Seeker Tanks. He lost 3 Venoms there for those 3 Seeker Tanks, which is not really worth it, but it does mean he can maybe go for that blue Tiberium himself now, and yes, he does straight away, so definitely if he gets that blue Tiberium it will be worth it. Those Mecha Peas though are moving to the top, so Futurama probably understands that the reason Drive has taken out those Seeker Tanks is to try and take that blue tip for himself. Looks like we're going to get a few little skirmishes here. Futurama sneaking forward with his drone ship. The Hexapod being healed up by those Corruptors, but no damage has been taken as of yet. 4 Planetary Assault Carriers and 2 Dev Warships are out with maybe about 10 tripods, you'd have to say. And the Hexapod. You look at Drive's force. He's got a lot of Spectre Artillery coming out now in those, I think the Rage Gen's gone off and he's shooting at his own Harvesters. Planetary Assault Carriers are quite deadly to your own forces if they are allowed to do that sort of thing. Looks like those those Spectre Artillery were force firing the ground, but the stasis comes down and this is it. Futurama has decided now is the time. He is going to move in with his army. It's a big army, and that Redeemer, it's going to be EMP'd as soon as it comes out of that stasis. Phase field used on the Hexapod to just tank damage, and look at it, it is tanking damage from 5 avatars right now. So those avatars wasting their shots on a unit that cannot be killed. The Planetary Assault Carriers pretty much have free reign at the moment. There's only a couple of Venoms and 1 AA battery here to deal with them. The Vertigo Bomber, oh my god, that's going to be a ridiculous Vertigo Bomber run. Oh my goodness me. He takes out 3 tripods and an avatar maybe. The Venoms here are trying to fight, but it looks like this game is over. Drone ship now moving in to support, but it looks like Drive's army has been completely wiped out here, and that will probably be the end of the game. Drive probably just typing in chat right now saying GG, well played. There it is, Futurama takes game number 2. So it was an interesting game, but it was quite a campy game. No one really committed to any massive aggression. And there was that middle period in the game where Futurama had a massive lead but just refused to capitalize on it. But in the end, it did not matter. He won the game quite convincingly, won that last fight quite convincingly, and now it's 1-1 and we'll move to game 3. Alright, here we are for game number 3 of this best of 7 series. In the top left as the red nod is Drive, and the bottom right as the cyan black hand, it is Futurama. winning the last game to take the series to 1-1. We're on the map Tournament Arena. So I think with a nod mirror type matchup on Tournament Arena, we're going to see a lot of aggression, a lot of really heavy aggression until the late game, where it could end up being very campy. It's going to be one or the other. We're going to see a game end in 5 minutes, or it's going to last 25. I don't think there'll be much in between. On this type of map, there'll be some really heavy aggression from both players. Scouts. Is that 2 militants? No, that's only 1 militant. I was going to say, does just a militant win? No, not even close. Okay. Goodness me, that's the 1.03 taking over my beret. Militants are super buffed and Cabals are super nerfed. I don't thought maybe the Cabal would lose that fight. Militant, yeah, I was going to say he wouldn't want to get out of that garrison right now. Now, is there going to be a rush out of either player? That's the question. There's no rush out of either player and there's no buggies out of either player. So it's like they've just made a mutual agreement. We're not going to rush each other. We don't want to fight. Now the buggy comes out by the looks of it. Buggy comes out. Bike comes out. So there's a difference. So is Futurama going to go for more bikes, or is he just going for one to kill the raider buggy that Drive has built? Well, currently he's doing nothing with it, so that's not really ideal. Futurama gets his MCV on the move. Is that going to be a harvester? No, it's another bike. So 2 bikes out on the field. Now Drive is also going in for his own bikes here. So it looks like it will be again an early aggression from both players. Maybe double war factory will come down from Drive and Futurama to really put the pressure on one another. Bike buggies, they're just sort of roaming around the middle of the map. They're not really sure where to go, what to engage. Cabal there is going to get picked off by that raider buggy. And well, he's just spamming out bikes, and so is Futurama. And that buggy will see that there's a lot of bikes on the field. I mean, this is really weird. Like, they've both built all these bikes and they're both being really passive, and neither player knew the other one was building bikes. Refinery down for both players. Now this is ridiculous. They literally look like they're doing the same thing. Bikes moving into now it's just a complete bike war. So this is kind of a bit RNG that your bikes don't overfire or overkill. But we'll see what happens here. Rocket squad starting to be built to defend that tib field. Harvesters being reproduced now by Futurama. Drive still only got 3 harvesters on his main, just mass producing bikes. Futurama up to 4 on this main base. Drive unable to find a way in with his bikes, but same with Futurama. So they've built all of these bikes and they've both sort of just herded each other into each other's corners with no real gain for either player. Second ref comes down for Drive and he has now got 4 harvesters on his main. So it looks like he's smashing ahead in the economy game, unless this is a refinery here and a harvester. A harvester comes out, and if this is a refinery, then well, it's looking pretty even again. Bike picks off a bike. Bikes pick off a bike. Barracks comes down for Drive, so we're going to see an infantry transition here by Drive. It looks like we are. Neither player has been able to take their blue Tiberium. It is too risky probably to go for your blue Tiberium when you know that there's mass bike on the field. You never feel comfortable going out for it. But if, well, as I say, that Futurama's gone for it. And if he puts some rocket squads in this bunker, it would be really hard for Drive to actually push through. And even if he killed the blue tib harvester, he would lose a lot of bikes for it, because the rocket squads would pick off the bikes quite quickly. Infantry coming out for both players? No, Drive is going for tech instead, but we do see a shrine here for... whoa, that is really far back, isn't it? And that's building quite slowly. I think that's going to be a flame tank. Or it's another harvester, but I don't imagine he's going to build any more harvesters at this point. He has quite a few. He's taking his blue tib. Yeah, flame tank's going to come out. Drive will see that Black Disciples upgrade has been completed. Swan Cabal is just going to clean up these rocket squads. Third War Factory comes down for Drive. Is he going to go for an MCV cell here? And maybe an MCV cell on the cards here for Drive. Probably not the best idea in the world when there is infantry, Blackhand infantry on the field, but maybe, who knows. Drive is an unorthodox player, he may go for something like that, but I do not think it would be the best play. Dozer Blades on the way, Flame Tanks coming out, building, probably being sent in every direction. We'll have to keep an eye out on the radar for any Flame Tanks that might possibly be roaming around. Drive trying to move in and save his tip spike with his Flame Tank. Bike's moving along the north edge of the map. And Rocket Squad's going to respond to that Flame Tank. I mean, he's not going to be able to overwhelm that infantry with one Flame Tank, and he's going to lose it anyway, so he probably should have just gone in and dealt with it if he could. 4 Flame Tanks are now out on the field, and wow. This is a really interesting contrast in builds between these two players. Drive, there's the MCV cell. Did he put a tier 3 down? It doesn't look like he did. And I think Futurama is going to get completely overwhelmed here. I mean, he's going for a Redeemer, he's got a second MCV, but there is so many forces here. There is 5 Flame Tanks on the way. I mean, he's just going to get his entire base burned down. He has an Obelisk here. They do one-shot Flame Tanks, so he's got to hope that those Obelisks really get the job done. He's going to lose his Redeemer facility, and I imagine this MCV will fall very quickly too. Yeah, look at the Flame Tanks combining with the Scorpion. Oh my god, it disintegrated that MCV. I mean, Drive, he's going to try, I mean, Futurama is going to try and spam out infantry. He's got another Obelisk of Light down on the front lines there, but he's going to lose his power. It looks like Drive is just saying, screw you, I'm going to kill your power. And then those Obelisks aren't going to do very much. He actually just focuses down this Obelisk now, though. He does lose another Flame Tank. Is this refinery going to fall? It does, so that's a damage to the economy of Futurama. But it looks like he is going to hold. It looks like he's going to hold, and now you'd have to say the advantage is firmly with Futurama, as he has the MCV, and Drive does not have an MCV. He has tech, and he can go back, once he gets that ref back out, he could go for clicks and really badly hurt Drive. And now, well, Drive only has 1 power plant now. That's a really big issue for Drive. He only has 1 power plant. Radar jamming missile fired by one of those players. Flame Tanks now moving in with the Scorpion Tanks to help for a crush move. Cloaking field placed on that infantry force there, and the infantry force has been dwindled down again by Drive, but it wouldn't take much for Futurama to rebuild that up, although he only has 1 barracks in the field right now. Those Flame Tanks, they aren't going to die, but he's going to have to send them back for repairs. Is Drive going to go back for an MCV? It doesn't look like he is. He must be low power right now, though. Yeah, he is. So he's floating 4k because he's low power. But again, when you have 3 War Factory, it probably doesn't matter too much. He'll probably spend the money. Oh, he's actually not. Yeah, he's actually not spending the money at all. And I guess there's not enough stuff for him to power down to make it worthwhile for it actually to be powered down. He's going back for another Redeemer. I think that's a very... Maybe he doesn't realise that Drive's all in Futurama, but a Redeemer here doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, if he gets it out, it's going to be very difficult for Drive to deal with. But whether he gets it out or not is the question. Scorpion Tanks absolutely wrecking this infantry force, just crushing them all down, but now the Obelisk of Light are starting to pick off this force. But the Flame Tanks are moving it again, and oh, there is a Obelisk of Light dropped to the front line. It's already picked off 2 of the Flame Tanks. A power plant drop. Oh, it wasted one of its shots on the Scorpion Tanks, but it looks like all the Flame Tanks are going to get cleaned up. That Obelisk does fall, but the Flame Tanks weren't able to break through and kill that Redeemer, and the Redeemer is going to come out, and I think that's going to make it very difficult for Drive because he has low power, he has stalled production, and he has no EMP or infantry to transition back into. He almost has to get an MCV out, doesn't it, at this point? But if he's sort of damned if he doesn't, damned if he does. If he goes for an MCV, he probably gets overwhelmed anyway, and if he doesn't, he probably doesn't have enough to kill the Redeemer. So I think that pretty much means he is in deep shit. Rocket Squad goes in the Redeemer because I guess Futurama has realised now that if he's only building Scorpion tanks and Flame tanks still, he must be all in. There's no Redeemer coming out, there's no avatars, there's no tech to speak of for Drive. He's probably realised Drive's all in. Now, can the Redeemer... I mean, the Redeemer should be able to deal with this force with the backup of infantry. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be... I find it really difficult to believe that Drive will be able to overwhelm this force with all the infantry backup. He's bringing his MCV with him as well to probably drop barracks and obelisks on the front line. So he sold off one of his refs, but it looks like Futurama is just going to move in here and clean up these forces. Almost really commentated here, they're both just sort of preparing themselves for the fight. Purifier's coming out as well. Obelisks of Light being queued, barracks is being dropped on the front line. I mean, he has a massive army. Oh, there goes the Rage Gen, and the Rage Gen is just going to cause sporadic damage to the Scorpion tanks. I mean, he's already lost about 4 tanks, and the engagement's barely even started. Obelisks of Light dropped on the front line. I mean, the more that Drive waits around, not really sure what to do, the less likely it is he can overwhelm this army. But those Harvesters come in that line formation with a beautiful crush move. Now that is a good play from Drive there, but I still don't think it'll be enough. I think there's just too much firepower here for Futurama. But the Scorpion tanks are starting to whittle down the forces. The Obelisk of Light and Purifier is going to fall, but the Redeemer is yet to take a bit of damage. And the infantry swarm is still coming out. Shredder turrets being dropped as well, and the Scorpion numbers are dwindling. I think that will be the end of the game there. He just does not have enough. Not enough there. And that is it. Drive has been defeated, and Futurama, after being 1-0 down, is now 2-1 up in the series. So Blackhand versus Not on Tournament Arena. You can see that Drive actually, well, these guys, they have been pretty much neck and neck all series on the economy front in all 3 games of the series. But yeah, Drive, he went for that all-in, and it almost worked. He almost broke through, but the Blackhand infantry was just too strong. Just too strong, and was able to hold off. And then the Redeemer came out, and that spelled the end for Drive. And I guess that means we'll move to game number 4 of this series. So this is heating up. This is a good series between 2 of the best players in the game right now. We'll see you in game number 4. Alright, game number 4 of this best of 7 semi-final series between Drive and Futurama, and in the top right hand corner of Tournament Badlands, it's Futurama playing as Traveller 59, and in the bottom left it is Drive playing as Blackhand. So Tournament Badlands will be the map for this game, Blackhand versus Traveller. And this is a matchup we are used to seeing in tournaments quite often. In particular, the most famous matchup that comes to mind is obviously Masterleaf versus Bike Rush. Engineers moving out for both players, going to capture their tip spikes. No Disintegrators out from Futurama, and no Black Disciple early upgrade from Drive. So it looks like both players just happy to chill out and eco again. So this is going to be the 4th game in a row where we've seen a bit of an eco build at the start. Although anti-scouting is hard here from Drive, so maybe he doesn't want Futurama to see. Is he going for an Operations Center? That is an Operations Center. It's an Operations Center, or it's another War Factory. But I'm going to put money on an Operations Center here. And it is an Operations Center. Now, Futurama does have vision of the War Factory, so he may end up seeing what comes out of the War Factory. He's going to place the Operations Center down here. And he's going to go straight for a Flame Tank. Now the question is, will Futurama's vision recede before he sees it? Oh, there's a buzzer here. He's gonna get it. He's gonna come in, and he's not gonna see what comes out, but he's gonna see the operations center. So Futurama knows what's coming. He knows that there is a flame rush on the way. Flame tank comes out. He's force firing the ground for some reason. That buzzer will get picked off by that Cabal, you would think. Yes, there we go. And the MCV is on the move. Flame tank's now moving up. Now, can Futurama deal with this flame rush? This is pretty much the question, because if he gets away with this pretty much damage-free, maybe only loses a spike or both of his spikes, he pretty much wins the game. It's if he gets critical damage, if Drive's able to get in there with a flame and kill a refinery in a war factory or something like that, that it can really be crippling and end the game. But this tip spike is going to fall, so the first victim of the flame rush is that Tiberium spike. Now we've just got to try and keep an eye on the minimap to remember where these flame tanks are, because Drive has sent them in every direction. He's gone back for a harvester now, and he has sold off that operations center. Flame tank here. Is there any more on the map? There's one down here. So I think he's only got 3. Looking at the minimap, there is only 3 that I can see. But it does not. Well, Futurama does have forces in position for this one. Flame tank up here. He's actually got around. It actually survived, so he might be able to burn down that tip spike. This flame tank has got in, but it will not probably get that refinery. No, it won't. In comes this flame tank though, and there's actually nothing here to do with it. Photon cannon will come down, and the flame tank says, well, I'm out of here. I ain't gonna deal with that. This flame tank also gets picked off, but the second refinery is down for Drive, and it looks like he's pulled even despite forcing out a massive response. But the problem is there is this massive army that he doesn't have anything to deal with. Double War Factory has come out now though. Blackhand squad finally gets on the move. Any player gone for the blue tip? Doesn't look like it, and all of the flame tanks have now been cleaned up by Futurama. He wouldn't know that though. He might still think there's more out there. He can't be too sure. Scorpion tanks now moving out to the north, maybe trying to secure that top blue field. And the problem is, Futurama, he would love to move out with this Seeker tank force, but he has no idea if there's still more Seeker tanks around on the map. And that's just a risk that he wouldn't want to take, because if one flame tank gets in and there's nothing to defend it, it could be the end of the game right then and there. These 2 Seeker tanks are going to sneak in on the left-hand side though, however. And this Harvester sees the Scorpion tanks coming up and says, I am out of here. Buggy comes in the bottom. Mass buzzer being produced here by Futurama, maybe looking to clear this out and take that tip spike or destroy that tip spike. Scorpion tanks are going to pick off this Harvester in the north, moving in south to find these Seeker tanks, but there's a lot of Seeker tanks here. I don't think Drive would be able to overwhelm this, and with the Photon Cannon coming in as well, he will not be able to overwhelm that. No way in hell. He does clear out that garrison. Does he have an engineer? No, he's going for Disintegrator, so it looks like if he's going to go for anything, he's going to try and destroy that spike. Black Hand Squad up here trying to kill this tip spike. I think it will be able to kill it before that flame tank gets up there. Buzzer's picking off. No, Buzzer's being picked off by the Raider Buggies here. Drive is falling behind in the eco game. Double ref now for Futurama. And Drive is moving south here to fight this army. Yep, that tip spike did fall. The Blackhand squad has been picked off now, but it looks like Drive is in a position of power here. He has the chance to overwhelm this force, although photon cannons and disintegrators will come down and they will defend off that army for now. That Drive has been able to produce up, but he is going to be able to take the blue Tiberium behind this, and he's taking both blue fields. Futurama unable to capitalize on his earlier map presence with the Seeker tanks, and now Drive is going to be the one that reaps the rewards of the blue Tiberium. He's now transitioning into infantry, still producing Scorpion tanks. No operation center yet to get that Dozer Blade upgrade, but I'm sure as soon as that is online he will go straight for it. Disintegrator is moving to the top side of the map, but there is a Cabal that will probably start picking them off. Secret Shrine comes down, and I believe another barracks will probably come down here for the Blackhand player. Well, we know what this means. This is a Prodigy being produced. And the Prodigy is still a massive issue for Blackhand in R16 and 1.02 plus in general. No Venoms for Blackhand, which makes it difficult to deal with that Prodigy. But of course they do have a lot of other very strong weaponry against the Scrin factions, such as their flame weaponry and their infantry. Drive is moving to the middle, which is brave because he has no tech to speak of and only one barracks on the field. Tripod's coming out, Prodigy is out. And this is where it becomes difficult for the Blackhand player. Once that Traveller player gets to their tech level and the game is even, it does become quite difficult. Taking a bit of damage from the Tiberium to that infantry force. Disintegrators here moving down south, but they will be picked off. Well, actually, they won't be, because those buggies just ran straight past. Hexapod coming out now for Futurama. Drive has now got up his tech and is building dozer blades or researching dozer blades. There is a mass seeker force in the top hand of the map, but infantry here will be able to defend that off, you would think, quite easily, as long as Drive realizes his infantry is actually running away from his harvesters. That's not good. He's really focusing on his force down here. Oh my god, the infantry is still moving away. The seeker tanks are starting to move in one by one. He needs to realize, and yeah, there we go. This is trouble here for Drive. These harvesters are under complete assault now. He realizes now, and there is nothing up here to deal with that. Absolutely nothing up here. He needs to get a barracks up there ASAP and start to deal with these forces. Harvester gets cleaned up here by the infantry in the middle of the map, and there's just balls of infantry all over the map for a Drive. He's just sending them in every direction. He's going to start picking off power plants and things like this. The Scorpion tanks will respond to the Seeker tank threat. Supercharged particle beams is on the way. You'd believe that supercharged particle beams. Yes, it is. It's researching too fast to be anything else, or it could be Emp coils actually. Dev warship now down, and a Prodigy almost goes down actually. But Dev warships will be a problem for Drive to deal with. The Blackhand forces are moving through the top part of Futurama space and cleaning up the main portion of it. Drive gets those harvesters back to work on the top map, and he is still taking both blue fields, which is a real big issue for Drive, for Futurama, I should say. Sorry. Oh, my game is frozen. And it's back. Okay, that was weird. Thought my game had crashed, but no, it has crashed. Well, I do believe we are back to where my game crashed, so we will continue casting from here. Flame tank actually in the back of the base, so I didn't see this last time. In the back of the base, and it does pick off a refinery here. Prodigy will come in and take that. Big Scorpion tank of army moving down in the south, and the infantry ball, well, it's been pretty much cleaned up now. Secret Shrine, is he going to go for a Commando, maybe? Maybe that's what that's for? I don't imagine he'll go for Purifying Flame. He's just not got enough stuff to make Purifying Flame worth it, unless he's going to really spam out infantry again. Beam Cannon's coming out from Drive, so that is an interesting choice. Scorpion tank's trying to move in the south. The Hexapod does respond with the support of the Tripods and the Prodigy. Dev ships being spammed out. Because you have Traveller engines. He does not. So there you go, no Traveller engines. Blackhand infantry being spammed out now. Beam Cannon's coming out as well, which I think is a great choice. It's really good versus the Prodigy, really good versus the Hexapod, and they are the two biggest threats to Drive in this game right now. But he does need something to deal with those Dev warships, so I think a couple of Mantis would not hurt. Probably doesn't need Tip Core, but it could be worth getting just in case. That Prodigy is going to come in and probably do quite a bit of work, actually. Whoa, those beam cannons! Oh, Drive! Don't do that. That is a way. Oh, and area mind control picks two of them off. There's the Mantis. So yeah, there comes the Mantis, and it's just going to suicide itself in anyway. So well, that probably wasn't worth it. Those Dev ships getting some good shots off on that infantry. Squads moving in, Beam cannons moving in. Mantis moving in. Both dev ships just survive. Oh my goodness. Where is the hexapod? Oh, the hexapod's up here dealing with the scorpion tanks. Okay. These dev warships, as long as they can be on literally 0 HP, but as long as they're alive, they are still going to put out the same amount of damage output. So it doesn't matter how low they get. A lot of tripods being built here, which is really an odd choice by Futurama because he knows that there's really not much of a tank force being built by Drive in this match. I mean, sure, there's like scorpion tanks, but you only need probably 3 tripods to deal with that. Plus, if you use the Prodigy, probably only need 2. Drive actually looks like he's in a really precarious situation here. I mean, he's got no Emp buggies, he's got no Redeemer. He's really going to struggle to deal with this Traveler army, I feel like. And Drive is starting to, I mean, Futurama is starting to mine in the middle of the map. No Tiberium core missiles here either. Looks, pod turrets. Not buildable anymore, unfortunately, because they desync the game. Actually supporting these Scorpion tanks in the north with a nice group of infantry here, which I think is a great play. This infantry force from Drive is going to try and deal with this hexapod. The Mantis will move in and it'll probably kill both of these if he focuses and splits fire. But no, the tripods will respond just in time to prevent that second dev warship from falling. Scorpion tanks are now moving around the right side of the map. They're going to try and get in. Maybe, like, look at these power plants, very vulnerable. Two of them already halfway damaged. Beam cannons continuing to be produced by Drive here, but the problem now is he cannot deal with these corruptors without specters or a one-click. Maybe a catalyst missile would be a good play here, not to use on the refinery, but instead to use on the corruptors. Scorpion tanks, and here we go. He's going to start picking off this power plant. These infantry forces are also moving into the back. The Prodigy is going to move back to respond and probably teleport. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That is an early phase. That is a very early phase, and Drive is just going to run away. He's going to say, I don't want anything to do with that. I am just going to move away from that. And I think Futurama did that a little bit prematurely. The Scorpion tanks are starting to actually clean each other up. But I mean, he has crushed almost no infantry yet, but he has allowed himself to get within reach of the base and the beam cannons in the base. He's going to sell off some of these structures to get a bit of extra DPS on the field, but these tripods and that phase have really not achieved much. And now, once this phase wears off, which it should be wearing off soon, these tripods are actually in a very vulnerable position, and they're starting to get fired upon by those rockets over there, but they will not a single tripod will fall. These beam cannons, geez, there's a lot of beam cannons on the field. They're just going to melt anything that they shoot at right now. Even that Eradicator hexapod, and he's starting to just look at the tripod's health just deteriorate. Gone. It's dead. It's gone. That dev warship looks like it's about to be picked off. Those Scorpion tanks are still in the back causing trouble, but there's a shock trooper there cleaning them up. And look at the beam cannons. There are 4 corruptors on that hexapod, but the beam cannons are just ripping it apart. Now it has rear armor being targeted, and the hexapod falls just like that. The tripod's trying to move forward now, but there's still a number of infantry forces, even some Scorpion tanks being rebuilt by Drive to bolster up the armor of this force. Down to 2 tripods now. Engineers are being built to reclaim some of the husks though, but the beam cannons are just ripping apart this force. We now have 2 elite beam cannons. And it looks like Drive is actually going to turn this game around. The War Factory is going to be focused down now, and now that Tech Lab is in an incredibly vulnerable position. There is still 3 dev warships here, which are actually very slowly picking apart the health of these beam cannons. But the Scorpion tanks now are pretty much unopposed, and is the Prodigy dead? I think the Prodigy died somehow, which is odd because we didn't actually see it in that front flying attack. The Tech Lab falls, there's another elite beam cannon. And yeah, Futurama has been defeated, so Drive really turned that around big time. I thought he was in trouble, and it was a game he had to win or he would have gone down 3-1 in the series, but now it is all tied up at 2-2. And I'll move on to game number 5 of this best of 7. Alright, here we are for game number 5 of this best of 7 series. In the south of Pipeline Problems, it is Futurama playing as the Marked of Kane, and in the north, it is Drive playing as Steel Talons and going for a crane build. Now, it's very well known that Futurama's favourite map and best map is Pipeline Problems, and after that loss in the last game, he will be looking to pick this map and to take the lead back in the series. Drive winning the last game to level it up 2-2. And an interesting matchup, but I think a matchup where Steel Talons is quite happy because the Emp of Mok isn't as prevalent versus Talons due to the adaptive armor. So we can see the differing build orders here from these two players. Drive going for the crane, and Futurama went for just placing a refinery on that field and went for his tip spike. So no crane there for Futurama. Drive instead going for the crane build and getting 2 refs down, 2 harvesters on that blue tip really quickly. War Factory now down for Futurama. So he will be looking to get those harvesters out and ready to go. Pulling back that harvester early to get that Tiberium in earlier. Great play by Drive. Futurama, he probably won't stall because this is obviously just a normal build on blue Tiberium, where Drive will probably stall a little bit if he doesn't pull back that harvester early. Emp coming down. Now that's just annoying. I mean, it's just annoying, and it does delay because he's stalling now. So that's very annoying for Drive, and that's one thing that Mok is very good at, is just being annoying with this Emp early in the game. And even this forcing out Watchtower. I mean, what's the point of selling that off? It's just going to instantly die now. That was a bit silly from Drive. There was really no point to selling that Watchtower off, but he's got 3 squads here, and again he just emps the MCV now. So 3 harvesters down here on this blue field, and 3 harvesters for Futurama as well. But he already has his expansion, or a ref on the green field, but Drive has 2 refs on the green field on the blue field, sorry, instead. Wolverine comes out, so he's obviously going, whoa, whoa, whoa. What is Drive doing? You don't have build radius on this tip field, Drive. If you move down here, you can't build on this field. I don't know if he realizes that. No, okay, he's redeploying, so that's good. This Wolverine might actually die here. If there's one more Emp left... No, it doesn't look like there is, so the Wolverine should be fine to clean up the remainder of those Awakened squads. Infantry, just a couple of infantry forces moving out here from Futurama. I'm not quite sure why he's decided to go for them, but he has. Futurama and Drive both, again, just playing this eco game. He's actually going for the middle expansion towers. Not expansion towers, what are they called? Defensive towers. If there's anyone from 0 Hour watching this game, oh no! He's going to get both of the engineers with that random rifleman just walking through the middle of the map. That is unlucky for Futurama. Yeah, so if there's anyone from 0 Hour, you probably realise this map looks a lot like, I believe it's Gorge Drought, and well, this map is the inspiration for Gorge Drought in the 0 Hour map pool, as well as a lot of the NMC maps. I think they are all from Command & Conquer 3 designs. MCV gets deployed there. That could have been really ugly if that if that MCV had been emped while undeployed. Those rocket squads could have done quite a lot of damage to it. Orca's coming out from Drive here. Tech Lab down. And Scorpion Tank's trying to move in and do a little bit of damage on this left-hand flank, but it does not look like they will achieve very much. That one Titan is in a really good position to just sit behind the refinery and not really take any retaliation fire, and there is now other Titans coming to reinforce this Titan. That Titan does fall, but it had already taken 2 Scorpion Tanks down and had let that other harvester escape. What is that? Is that a decoy? That must not be a real harvester. That must be a decoy, and he's probably looking for a one-click. Yep, Catalyst, no, Tip Chem Plant is on the field, but is he going to click that ref? He is. He's going to click that ref. So he doesn't want the third to develop for Drive. Orca's come in, and he does get off one shot. The stealth tank is here as well. He flew over a SAM turret, and now there is a stealth tank there. Is he going to get that harvester? He gets 2 harvesters, loses 2 Orcas. Definitely worth it for the GDI player. Every day of the week, you would always take 2 Orcas for 2 harvesters. This decoy harvester still just rolling around Yeah, definitely a decoy of a rifleman. One single rifleman squad without AP ammo. Oh no, he does have AP ammo. He's doing that much damage. Railguns is almost done. Redeemer on the way for Futurama. Defensive tower and EMP spike have been taken, but again, if the sound doesn't delay itself, like it sometimes glitches and you don't hear the sound, if that doesn't happen, Drive will have enough time, if he gets adaptive armor, to activate his adaptive armor, and this Emp Spike will do nothing. Unless he goes for Behemoth instead. If he goes for Behemoth, then go for it. The Emp Spike will be really powerful. What is this going to be? Is this going to be a Tip Vapor Bomb? Yeah, I can't imagine it's anything else. Stealth Tank's coming in as well. Oh, the Mammoth Tank actually shoots down the plane! Oh my goodness. Those planes really do not have much armor, because Mammoth Tank, well, they don't do a little amount of damage, but they surely shouldn't do that much, you wouldn't have thought, to kill down a possible Tip Vapor Bomb. It could have been Magmite, though. I think it was Magmite, because I don't think he had his Chem Plant at the time. Vertigo Bombers now on the field as well. Stealth Tanks roaming around the map. A sensor pod on top of the Titan to detect the Stealth Tank. What a play that is from Futurama. Wow, I love that. I mean, that's from Drive, I should say. Beautiful play from Drive. That is genius. Vertigo Bombers came in for a bombing run there. It's very rare. It looks very odd, doesn't it? Seeing a sensor pod on top of a Titan. But that is what we have here. You mostly see sensor pods used on top of a Marv. If on anything, they are usually on top of the Marv. Behemoth is starting to be produced here, so the Emp Spike could end up finding itself some use. Oh, Rage Gen on the Mammoth Tanks is always a painful sight. The Orcas are going to come in and try and do some damage. Vertigo Bombers have killed another Harvester, and those Orcas are forced back by Tiberium Core missiles on that SAM turret. Drive is going to continue pushing forward with his MCV. Only one Harvester on this tip field for Futurama. He's really struggling to get his eco up in this game. He needs to send some more Harvesters over to this field. Gets a third on the field now with the production of that refinery. Stealth Tanks being picked off again, and Drive has done an incredible job. These Stealth Tanks have really failed to get in and do any serious notable damage to the economy of Drive. I mean, look at how strong his economy is, and he is still keeping both of his main fields dry. These Vertigos should come in and kill that Behemoth. You would think they will come in and kill that. No, they go for the Harvester, actually. Okay, so they go for the Harvester filled with Tiberium. Orca's on the front line here. Maybe he wants to drop a sensor pod right in the front line here. He said he's actually building Pitbulls as a bit of a stealth detection buffer. Spectre Artillery coming out now, and he's spammed out Awakened Squads. Vertigo Bombers coming in. Or maybe the Pitbulls are actually to deal with the Vertigos. I didn't think of that possibility. Oh, another Rage Gen goes off, and a Mammoth Tank is destroyed in the Rage Gen. So that's painful as the GDI player when that sort of thing happens. Now, does Drive have his tier 4? He does now. He's just placed on the front line. 2 Spectres already fall, and the Shockwave Artillery comes in. The Redeemer gets locked down straight away. The RNG on the side of Drive right there. And the Redeemer is locked down instantly. The Mammoth Tanks, he actually does get hit by an EMP, and well, once they start getting EMP'd, you can't turn that around. Vertigo Bombers coming in. Is he going to go for the MCV? Oh, he doesn't, but he cleans up 2 of the Behemoth. The Titans are now moving in. There's 3 Behemoth, 2 Mammoth Tanks, but the 2 Mammoth Tanks are on extremely low health. The Awakened Squads will probably be able to pick them off. The Spectres from the backline are still peppering their rounds into this force, and the Redeemer does escape with quite a bit of health, but that MCV is in serious trouble of falling. The Orcas are starting to return to the battle. These Titans have come in and cleaned up all of the Spectre Artillery, and the Orcas are going to come in with the help of the Behemoth, and I think that's going to be the end of this Redeemer. Rage Gen goes off, Elite Orca, MCV falls, Redeemer falls, and I think Futurama in this game also falls. Vertigo Bombers are going to come in for another bombing run, and they do kill 2 more of these Behemoths, but unfortunately he has nothing to clean up the husks, and there he goes. Futurama goes down. Drive, again, retakes the lead. 3-2 to Drive now in this series. And we will move to game number 4. Game number 6, I should say. And yeah, you can see Drive just his economy was just better, and those stealth tanks just got picked off that Titan with the sensor pod. What a play that was by Drive. Just shows how smart Drive is as a player to think of something like that. Anyway, we will move on to game number 6 here. This is a great series between these two. Maybe we will even get an ace match out of it. If Futurama can win the next game, he needs to win both games now. Drive is on match point. Alrighty, here we are for game number 6 of this best of 7 series. In the bottom left as the Cyan Steel Talons, it is Futurama, and in the top right as the green Zocom, it is Drive. Now this map, I would have to say Steel Talons is quite a powerful faction, but Futurama will probably have some nerves. It is match point for Drive. If Drive wins this, he proceeds to the grand finals, and Futurama will be going to the 3rd place playoff instead. Drive gets that central tower. Futurama takes the one to the left and to the right of that big central tower, the GDI Logistics Center. And it is a GDI civil war here on this map. Both players, I imagine, will go pretty standard eco to start with. I don't think there'll be anything odd, like any command post or anything like that. Zocom and Steel Talons really don't have a massive arsenal of rushes. I mean, Steel Talons could go for a fast Titan, maybe. Futurama could go for a Titan MRT, which could be fun to see, but it looks like both players are just going for their harvesters, which is completely fine. It is understandable in a matchup like this. It is quite hard to rush, so the Steel Talons and Zocom will just eco. Power plant placed, an expansion underway for Drive and Futurama. Now the question is, will they expand the same way? No, it looks like Futurama isn't going to expand the same way as Drive, which is surprising because Futurama is, I mean, his Talons and their base pushing is extremely powerful, but it looks like both players deploying. Geez, they've done this a few times this series where it looks like they're just doing the same build order. Right? I imagine they're both building a tier 2 right now. This could be a second war factory actually for either player, but it looks like it's tier 2. It looks like it's building too fast. Tier 2 down, there we go. And it looks like he is starting the production of an airfield, if I had to guess. Futurama, I'm not sure what he's going for there. Airfield down for Drive, and if he catches Futurama off guard with this, could be spelling big trouble. Is he going to go for Zorkas? That would be a really interesting choice if he went for Zorkas here, Drive. I don't imagine he will, but that would be fascinating. And he's going for Zorkas, so there we go. Marik's out for Futurama, so he's going for whoa, what in the world is this? You are Steel Talons, why are you going for a second MCV? This is a unique build order. I have never seen anything like this before, and this is actually really dangerous because he runs the risk of getting this sniped by a Zorka. Wow, what a build from Futurama. This is... wow, I have no words. I've never seen such a fast multi-MCV, especially by a Steel Talons player. Like, by a Nod player, you see it quite often. Zorkas come in, but they do not hit their target. Can he get that Harvester instead? Oh, doesn't have enough rockets to actually kill the Zorka, to kill the Harvester. What is Drive's plan? I mean, Futurama's plan here. He's gone for a second MCV. What is the plan? Maybe he's expecting the response from Drive to be mass infantry, and he's preparing for that to have double watchtower drops. And well, I mean, he's spot on. The infantry is coming out, but he's also built a really big ground force here. But of course, that's fine for Futurama to deal with. He's got Titans, so he can deal with that sort of stuff quite simply. Watchtower goes down. War Factory comes down. How often have you seen a War Factory in this part of the map? Not very often, I would have thought. And it looks like they're going to start pushing. His MCV's just going across the map. He's just saying, screw this, I'm coming straight at you, Drive. No fear. And this is a crazy build, considering he's on match point here. And this is the type of build he pulls out. He's going for railguns. He's not even going for railguns. He's built a mammoth tank, not even going for railguns. He's got another mammoth tank, and he's not even getting adaptive armor either. Like, even adaptive armor would be really good here for Drive. The supersonic, or whatever it's called, what is that called? Overload beam used there. That mammoth tank is quickly focused down. Futurama is on the brink here, and this is match point. If he loses this game, it's all over. I think he's going to be completely overwhelmed here. Another mammoth tank comes out on the front line, and there's oh my god, there's a behemoth. And a behemoth in this, when all of the units that he's fighting are all clumped up like this together. Oh my god, he kills 2 juggernauts right there. Drive is bringing his harvesters to the front line. He said, this is it. This is the fight that will decide the game, and I'm going to bring my harvesters along for the ride. Futurama's harvesters are collecting Tiberium from either side, but the Titan actually crushes one of those harvesters, and it looks like the double watchtower spam, and the behemoth is ranked up and it is fighting tier 1 units. That means it has done a lot of work. Finally, he actually decides to take these garrisons which are here. But again, he could just build a grenade squad and he's all good there. Sells off his tech. He's actually sent himself back down to tier 1, which is probably fine. I mean, wow, Drive is all in. Drive sold his MCV for this. I mean, there's an engineer there. I can only assume that's because he's all in. This single behemoth, what an MVP. What an absolute MVP of the game. It looks like Drive's dead. He only has a couple of rocket squads left. I mean, he still has an economy, he still has a barracks, and he still has power. But Drive is just gonna, Futurama is just gonna move forward with double MCV watchtower drop, and I don't really think Drive could stop it. What a build order from Futurama. This is, yeah, and Drive sells out. GG, wow, what a build. What a build from Futurama. That is an incredible build order. He obviously knew and predicted that Drive would try and defend the base push with infantry, and said, well, if I have double MCV watchtower drops, it's going to be really hard for that infantry and to break through, because I'm dropping 2 watchtowers at a time. One watchtower can very easily be overwhelmed. When you're building 2 at a time, it makes it very difficult. So Futurama wins this game and will take it to an ace match. So we will head into that last game and get straight into it. Here we are for this ace match. We are on the map Smashed Dust Bowl, and in the north as the cyan nod, it is Futurama. And in the bottom as the green Traveller 59, it is going to be Drive. Now, both players actually playing some of their strongest factions here. Drive is a very good Traveller player, and Futurama loves his nod. So this is very exciting, actually. We're going to see a very high caliber game for this final match, I imagine. Disintegrators actually being produced here, so the Disintegrator Rush is coming out from Drive. Maybe just, and this is risky, because if Futurama went Shadow Teams here, which is not a prevalent build anymore, because most players don't do it, because it's they're used to the no poker version. You don't do Shadow Teams on the no poker version. It would almost be GG already if Futurama had gone Shadow Teams here. He would kill the engineer, he would kill all the descents, and he would just be miles ahead. Because going Shadows is a lot cheaper than going for Disintegrators. But the Disintegrators are out, Militants are on the field, but Drive is still yet to be detected by Futurama. I don't believe he has seen this yet. Militants starting to garrison up some of these buildings, and I think, well, has he got a Shredder Turret queued? He has, and the buggy is going to find them. And he sees them and he turns around instantly. He goes, okay, there is Disintegrators on the field for Drive. I need to be ready for that. Oh, that garrison's going to get a nice little swing at those at those Disintegrators. The Disintegrators are actually going to engage here. Not really what he wants to do with them. The Shredder Turret is baited out, and Drive just says, well, I've baited that out of you. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go a different way. Kills that Militant squad off completely now. Gets his second Harvester out, and Futurama is still yet to place that second refinery down. There he goes, and he doesn't even have a third harvester. So economy-wise, they've actually pretty much tied it all up. It's pretty even, and Drive runs the risk of... No, Futurama runs the risk of losing this Tiberium spike. Oh, there's the Raider buggy. Oh, it gets away, but it's probably going to be forced to go and get repairs now, because if he gets one more swing, it'll go into heavy damage mode, and the Disintegrators will be able to chase that down and kill it. Oh, not quite able to get the shot off to kill that. He starts to move forward with those Disintegrators, but I don't think he'll be able to get the job done. No, he's forced to retreat there. Refinery goes down, and actually looks like Drive is ahead. Drive is ahead, but is Futurama going for bikes? No, he's not. So he's built these 3 buggies, but then hasn't gone for any aggression behind it. I thought if he was going to back this up with bikes, you know, maybe this would work. He's going for the blue tib. No, he's changed his mind. He's not going to go for the blue tib. Maybe that was just a rally point that was set out there for him. Gunwalkers and Seeker tanks now being produced by Drive. Expansion coming up now. And this game has actually sort of settled down to a pretty relatively even game, which is good. I think we're set up for a nice long game 7 and a very close one at that too. Blue Tiberium in the middle, starting to grow, not being claimed by either player as of yet. Refinery down for Futurama, and Drive is a long way away from that. Getting his own ref down. Milton taking damage on that side, nothing too exciting there. Drive is going to try and have a swing at that blue Tiberium. Futurama, it looks like he's actually steaming ahead in the economy race now, but the blue Tiberium, if claimed by Drive, if this harvester does get back, will really put the money back into Drive's pocket to refund or to rebuild up that economy. And he's also got this tip spike, which Futurama doesn't. Second War Factory out for Futurama. Portal on the right hand side here, so he's going to start going for those Disintegrators as well with his army. Seeker tanks and Gunwalkers. Yes, they are going to be killing that Raider buggy. Drive looking unlikely to be able to push through with this army, but if Futurama keeps going that way, I mean, what is that? He needs to move one of those harvesters to that other tip field. There's literally nothing here for Drive. What's he doing? Do you have a photon cannon queued? No, he has nothing queued. Those Seeker tanks have come back along the left-hand side. And he's going to pick off those 2 Scorpion tanks straight away. So good focus firing there. That blue tip harvester did get back, but now Futurama is taking a swing out of it. Disintegrators moving in with the Seeker Force, but there's a lot of Raider buggies there. They're just not going to be able to compete with that many Raider buggies. And Drive will be forced to retreat. He has a lot of harvesters, goodness me. He's going for Storm Riders, really? No, that's a drone ship. No, it's not. He's not going for a drone ship, is he?
Unit under attack.
Unit under attack.
He is. Wow. Second drone ship. What an interesting play. Maybe looking to go for... He's going for his tech now. He doesn't even have a tech yet. Wow, this is bizarre. Disintegrators are moving in to the main base of Futurama, but of course it's going to be a bit hard for them because he cannot detect stealth with Disintegrators. Shredder turret will also come down. Flame tank comes down over here as well. Second drone ship will come out though. This is interesting play. Is he going to go for shard launcher, photon cannon spam, or something of the likes? Tech is down, yeah, and he's not going for shard launchers. There you go. He's going for tripods. He's gone for a second drone, but not doing anything with it as such. That tip spike is going to be focused down by Futurama. Buggy dies. That other buggy is going to get in, and I'm assuming he's about to get his catalyst up. Is that going to be it? There's his click plant, and he's going to drop a catalyst missile on one of these refineries here. Photon cannon dropped on the front line here. Catalyst comes down. Shard launch is still not on the way, which is surprising. That Prodigy is about to be built. Temporal on the force here of Wow, why is he retreating? He should take advantage of this. Photon cannon is dropped. But I don't think that'll do anything. No way. Tripods are out now on the field, and the Prodigy is not out because it's over here. Cultist came out of there. I feel like Futurama doesn't have as much as he should. I feel like his force seems quite... Oh, he has lasers. Wow, okay. Okay, he has laser capacitors, so that's why he doesn't have as big a force, because he has gone for the upgrade instead. These Raider Buggies are sort of just funneling themselves to their death, maybe trying to get into the backline to kill that Prodigy. Area Mind Control does miss. Oh, wow. Oh, the tripod was phased, but it still died because it was on such a low amount of health. There is a flame tank in the base, but the cultist takes it, but it is now being killed and force fired. Well, that was a really messy engagement by both players. The Scorpion tanks are now moving to the north part of the map, but where is your shard launchers, Drive? He's getting it now. Imagine how much more damage he would be doing with these photon cannons if he had the shard launcher upgrade. Redeemer is on the way for Futurama. And that Tiberium Spike does fall. He needs to clean up this husk somehow. Maybe that Black Hand Squad will be able to come in and clean that up. Does kill off the buzzer, and now he needs to move in and kill that husk. Oh, he is shooting at a harvester instead. Okay. Redeemer is almost out. Scorpion tank's being built. Has he gone for Emp coils? No, he isn't going for it either. Double F is down. So, wow. Futurama really needs to make a play for the win now. Otherwise, Drive is going to just power away. His MCV, wow, his MCV is now moving across the map. He's decided he has to win. And he has to win right now. Brave play to move your MCV across the map when you do not have Venoms in the air, because this Prodigy could end up just walking in and taking it for himself. Drive's force isn't massive. He has 4 tripods out. He's going to be able to double drop photon cannons on the front line as well. Shard launchers is almost down. Is this going to be a Dev Warship as well? So Dev Warship's coming out, which means that this, even if the Prodigy doesn't get the MCV, it will still struggle anyway. Photon cannons and Seeger tanks fighting with these Scorpion tanks. Prodigy takes a couple of those Scorpion tanks, and that was not a good early start to that fight for Futurama. This is going to be it. This is going to be the fight that decides the series. It all comes down to this. An hour and a half of games coming down to this final moment. This final engagement between these two players. A lot of Scorpion tanks in the red health there, you can see. Dev Warship comes down, the MCV has arrived on the front line, and the Redeemer is here as well. Rage Gen goes off. The tripods are going to start focusing each other down. Double photon cannons right on the front line. That Redeemer is tanking a lot of the damage, and the Scorpion tanks are able to get in and focus fire down. The Raider Buggies should start to focus fire. Oh, they focus fire the Prodigy. The Prodigy is down, and the Redeemer also falls, but it looks like Drive is being overwhelmed. But there is 5 photon cannons here firing on the army of Futurama, and his Scorpion tank numbers are being dwindled really quickly. Those shard launcher photon cannons are deciding the fight. More photon cannons being dropped. There is now 6 photon cannons here, and I don't think Futurama can break this. Another tripod comes to reinforce, and I think Futurama, he has nothing left. I think he's on the ropes. I wouldn't quit if I was him as such, because it is the final game and he wouldn't want to just give up that easily. But it does look like he is in serious trouble here. Another photon cannon dropped on the front line by Drive, and the photon cannon spam has won the day. He's going to be able to reclaim that husk as well. The Black Hand Squad is trying to focus down that husk, and it does get it. So he does get the husk, and now Drive is going to, well, Futurama, I mean, is going to try and move around and find a different way in to the base, but there's already photon cannons here waiting for that attack. And is...
Hello everybody, here's your Brom Complex episode 100.
Shut up, what? Alright, I'm just gonna ignore that. My radio's decided to play some weird promo. Alright. Scorpion tank's moving down the left hand side over here. Wow, look at Drive's economy. I mean, Futurama, I think he's out of this game. He needs to get in and do a crippling amount of damage with the forces he has here to give him enough time to recover. Is he going back for an MCV? Yeah, it looks like he is over here. He's going to get in, he's going to pick off some power plants and things like that. There's a tripod there, but there's also 2 photon cannons and 2 more tripods coming in to reinforce. Another photon cannon is dropped, and the power does not even fall. I think Futurama is in serious trouble here now. Yeah, he's really going to struggle to deal with this army. 3 tripods here. I mean, he can go for some infantry maybe. The MCV is out, and his drive is actually now moving his first drone ship across the map to start an attack on the 3rd base of Futurama. Scorpion tanks are moving across the top part of the map, maybe trying to sneak in and do damage up there. The Seeker tanks are responding. And again, even if he does manage to get over here, he's just going to drop photon cannons down. He's now retreating back this way again. But I think it's all over. I can't see him stopping this force. And even if he stops this initial force, Drive's economy is just so big that it will probably be the end of the game either way. These Scorpion tanks, I mean, they're going to put up a fight, but I don't think they're going to do enough. Prodigy's here as well now, and he's just going to run in and take the MCV, you would think. He's just going to run in, take the MCV, and that will be the end of the game. Oh no, he teleports his drone in and then takes the MCV. And that'll be it. Drive will be through to the grand final, I would believe now. Airfield drops on the front line to start building those Devastator warships. And that engagement on the right hand side, it really was decided by those photon cannons. Those photon cannons really did a lot of damage. And there it is, Futurama has been defeated, and Drive proceed the special one hosted by AggressivePanda and Marik. A really good series there, all the way to the ace match, and we saw some really fun matchups in there due to the rule set that is in the tournament, but it will be Drive who will go through to the grand finals of this tournament. Well played to both players. I will probably cast the other semi-finals very soon, although I'm sure most of you know about them considering the players that were in it. But that will do for today. That was a really good series. I really enjoyed casting that. 2 of the best players in the game right now going toe to toe. But Drive gets the better of Futurama on this day, so Drive will proceed to the grand final. I'll cast the other semi-finals soon, but I will see you guys around another time in a different video. See you later.